Waiting on camera.
Hey Kevin.
Hello? Hey Cameron, how you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
How you doing, man? Let me just start
Good,
off
good.
by saying it's a pleasure to meet you. And thank you for joining me and helping me out with this assignment I have.
Yeah, my pleasure. I've been doing a bunch of these, so I'll probably be familiar with the questions, but I'm more than happy to chat. Thank you for being able to push the meeting. I missed someone else's meeting and I had to make it up to them.
It's completely fine, Cameron. Um, the good things you're here.
Yeah,
A little bit about myself. I'm a freshman at Quinnipiac.
yep,
I'm in the 3+1 business program for business analytics, and I'm also in the honors program. Um, for context, this call will be recorded and is a school assignment. The assignment involves having a conversation with someone in the same career field as I am pursuing.
yep.
Uh, I'll be asking questions about your career, and I hope you can be as open and honest as possible with me.
Yeah, sounds good, Kevin. I'm happy to help.
Okay. Again, this call is being recorded, and I will be looking to my right because I will be taking notes on like documenting everything that we talk about.
Sure, no problem.
Um, to start off, could I get just a brief introduction, from you from for my recording? Let's just start off. How was Quinnipiac, for you, and how was your time here?
Yeah, absolutely. So Quinnipiac was great. Quinnipiac was very integral in kind of how I've gotten to where I am today. There's a couple of reasons for that. So I studied finance as my major, and then I had minors in economics and data science. And I felt like those all complemented each other really nicely and ultimately allowed me to really grow my curiosity of business and economics and kind of learn that it's a field that I'm super interested in. Um, and that was through a number of opportunities I had at school. Um, One of them was the applied portfolio management classes, so finance 450 and 451. Um, Sorry, Kevin, remind me, what are you studying and what are your interests?
Right now I am set for business analytics, and I'm curious about the entrepreneurship program also in Quinnipiac.
Okay, cool. Cool. So yeah, I like I'm obviously setting up here. I studied finance, um, and I'll kind of lead to where I am today in terms of my work. But yeah, so applied portfolio management is a class at Quinnipiac. It's really two classes. It's finance 450 and 451. And in the first semester, you serve as an analyst, and then in the second semester, you serve as a portfolio manager. Okay, so what am I talking about? We it through the class we managed a portion of the school's endowment, so it's actually a few $1 million of money that we are investing, and it's primarily or entirely through uh, the stock market, right? So publicly traded stocks that we analyze and we invest in certain ones. We decide how much to own, what we want to buy, what we want to sell. And, it was a very practical class for someone like myself who had an interest in business and economics and ultimately the world of investments and who, thought they might want to go down this path. So, by taking that class and going through that experience, it really solidified my interest in the world of investing and, made me want to pursue a career in this path. Um, and ultimately, I was fortunate to find an internship with Monty Financial Group, an equity research internship. So, very similar, pretty much type of work to what I was doing in the student managed fund. Although, the firm, as most companies do, has a very unique approach to investing in the markets, to analyzing the economy, and to, ultimately we're a private wealth management, excuse me, it's a private wealth management firm that serves individuals and families. So, I interned there doing equity research in the firm's asset management division. We're a small firm, 12 people right now, and at the time a bit smaller. So I've been accustomed to that experience. And I was fortunate to get hired through that program. I definitely took the internship seriously, and it really piqued my curiosity because I'm a curious person, I would say, and the curiosity combined with the interest in business and economics and just understanding kind of how the world works and seeing that through a business lens, all of that really teed me up to become an analyst and to go down this career path. So that's where I am today. I was hired as a research associate at the beginning of this year. I moved up to research analyst, and I'm continuing to work for Monty Financial Group.
That's a very interesting career path. Um, from the internship, how did you hear about it or find out about it?
Yeah, it was an email from Jill Kohler. She's one of the associate deans in the School of Business focused on career development. Um, that was at the time, I don't know if they do this anymore, honestly, because of like Handshake, but at the time, she would forward a lot of job opportunities through email to Quinnipiac students, and like the email chain was based on your year. So I found out about that internship in the fall of my third year. And I was in the 3+1 program. So that was my, basically my senior year for undergrad. And I applied quickly. And I actually had a good relationship with Jill because she was my professor for SB 250, which is the career development class, I think, for sophomore year. And I asked if she would recommend me for the position, and she did. And that helped me to get the internship ultimately. So yeah, it was really through the fact that QU and the firm had a relationship, a recruiting relationship that continues to this day.
Cameron, you're from Guilford, right?
I'm actually not from Guilford. I work there now. I live up in Weathersfield, so near Hartford. I'm originally from Massachusetts, actually, near Springfield.
Mm.
Where are you from?
I'm from New Haven, Connecticut.
Oh, New Haven. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love New Haven.
Yeah, man. Do you have any memories from New Haven or anything you like to?
I this the it it's a really cool spot for young people. I felt like there's just between the nightlife and the food and it obviously has its ups and downs, but it's very walkable. And I feel like during the day on the weekends and stuff, it can be a fun and interesting place to be. And there's just a lot of cool kind of you know unique culture there. So um, I enjoyed all that. Like no specific memory in particular, but definitely spent my fair share of time there.
As far as your job, what is your personal definition of success?
Yeah. So for my job, being an analyst is really an exercise in building trust. Um, Ultimately, what you're doing is you are gathering information and data. And when you get to a certain point, you are kind of putting your spin on the data and you're presenting that to the decision makers at whoever the decision makers are that you work for or under. So in my case, there's one the chief investment officer and the portfolio manager. He's also the founder of the firm back in 2009, Bob Monty. Um, and I ultimately all the research that I do on the companies that we own or that we may want to own or that we're maybe considering selling or whatever the situation might be. Um, all of that research is crucial data to our decision making process. So they're entrusting me. He's entrusting me with the ability to find the relevant information, to get the right answers, to provide an analysis and an interpretation that is accurate and that is very helpful, and that is you know all encompassing, right? Something that kind of factors in all the different considerations. So really, success in my role is when the trust is built, when you are able to perform different analyses in very effective ways, and that leads to increasing responsibilities and kind of different opportunities for working, both within the firm and elsewhere. So building trust constantly, and maintaining the trust that's been built is really how I define success for being a research analyst.
Thank you, Cameron, for sharing that out with me. And
Yep.
um, fast forward to that, what kind of sacrifices, like big or small, have you had in order to achieve your success that you are right now?
Yeah, I think that when I answer this question, I often think about time. Time is a scarce resource, of course. It's probably the most important thing that we all have at our disposal, and um, the sacrifice of time towards meeting different goals that you want is a crucial part of life, right? I mean, it's the better you can manage your time, the more effectively you can prepare yourself for the different things that you want to achieve and the different situations you want to put yourself in. That makes you better in the long run, and all of that preparation and the work itself takes time. So it's easy to get caught up in one path in life, and say, I want to be singularly focused on being the best research analyst I could possibly be, and to the exclusion of everything else. I want to just do this as best I can, and that's great, and that could lead to a lot of career success, and it could even lead to personal fulfillment depending on what your goals are. But um, there's more to life than just working. So I do try to balance my time between both my career and other things that are important to me. And that is really all, sacrificing time that you could spend doing other things to maybe things that are more passive, like relaxing, watching TV, whatever, just hanging out, right? And I'm sacrificing that kind of low key uh, living for trying to accomplish different things. Um, and that's something that really since high school I've kind of been aware of that. Uh, it's a simple fact, of course, but it's kind of been obvious to me, and I'm sure it's obvious to others. And it's something I do think about to this day.
Yes, and I 100% agree with you. Time is very important and how you use it wisely.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, Such as like work time, like do you mind sharing out like your work times that you work for the company?
Yeah, I usually work between 8 and 9 hours a day. Starting around 8:30 in the morning. Um, yeah, I would say I have good work life balance because of the culture of the firm. The way I like to put it, at least, and I'm talking about my firm in particular, is think about it like an athlete, right? If you want to be a great baseball player, uh, it's more than just going to practice, right? It's the time spent before and after and in between, and when you're kind of walking around. Like it's all the other things that you do, the way you think, the way you train, the way you put yourself in positions to be successful beyond just what's expected of you. That's how you can, accelerate your own development. So, for me, for us, really, it's a pretty standard work week. That's the minimum. But of course, if you want to achieve different things, at an accelerated pace, it's always welcome to put more time in.
And do you work Monday to Friday or Monday to Saturday?
Monday through Friday. Yeah, it's ultimately tied to the stock market, which is open from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, excluding holidays and different things. So, that's at a bare minimum. That's when, most of us need to be in the office most days. Once again, the weekend work I would classify as, that would be for yourself going above and beyond. And I think it's not just working that makes you better at the job, right? It's other things that can be less formal, right? Reading books, listening to podcasts, watching webinars, watching, different. There's so much great content on YouTube where you can learn a lot. Um, you're not going to take a test on any of that stuff, but it really can help your mindset and help you learn and grow.
And yes, I do agree with that too, that there is a lot of resources. It could even be social media or much more things above and
Yeah.
beyond.
Oh, for
Um,
sure.
can you like share with me like what's like a podcast you love or like a book that you're reading right now?
Yeah, it's a great question. There's a one podcast I usually reference called Founders by David Senra. It covers through the lens of biographies about great founders and extremely successful people. It just covers the unique things that they do, and then over time the creator and the main podcaster, he has such a plethora of knowledge that he's able to really draw on all the different people he's learned about and kind of combine the experiences and find similarities and differences in the ways they've done it. And, it's just really the whole podcast is just like this huge snowball of kind of knowledge. And I just find it super fascinating. I love to study people. I think, studying great founders of successful businesses is a great way to do that. And, I think the psychology of aspect of it is also fascinating.
Well, I hello?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah. My bad. I thought I cut out for a second.
Oh, it's all right.
Um, yeah, but the podcast sounds very interesting and I'll definitely look into it. And
Great.
um
Yeah, I think you'd enjoy it.
yeah, thank you. Uh such as like weekend, like you mentioned about like working on the weekends or like working like overtime, I would say. Do you ever like go back home and like keep working or on your weekends like work? Or is that like your choice? Like you get to choose if you do or don't?
Yeah, it's ultimately my choice. I have a laptop, work laptop, and yeah, I could log on from my apartment here. Really at whenever. Like even tomorrow morning, for example, I'm actually going to campus for a networking event, and I'm going to be working at home for the first hour of the day, give or take. So yeah, we have the flexibility. I mean, we're a small, flexible firm. We have high expectations for ourselves and for our employees. About the ability to be a self starter and to kind of keep yourself on track. But it's of course within reason, and it's flexible. We're have a very natural relationship with one another throughout the firm. All 12 of us, and then just the the we're set up with the right equipment to work from home and do other things as needed.
Do you usually work from home or do you usually go to the office or firm?
Yes. So my very typical work week is Monday through Friday in the office. It's just these one-off instances where I will work from home during the day from time to time.
And such as like from your firm, like coworkers or like your teammates, like how is it for you? How has your experience been?
Yeah, I really enjoy it. It's there's just a lot of intellectual curiosity and wanting to better ourselves, both in terms of the like our investment process, how the firm runs as a business, and all those kind of things. So I'm very fortunate to be in the situation I am with who's at the firm. And we're gonna, as the team grows, we're gonna keep bringing on like-minded people to increase that, increase the fact that we have great people. It's gonna snowball into something larger.
How would you say it was from like when you came in as an intern rather than now working it as your day-to-day job?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I haven't thought about that too much. I mean, I think I think the main difference that appears to me is that we are much more process oriented as time has gone on, right? We have consciously implemented different processes and procedures that make us better. And there's actually a great book called Systemology about the this endeavor to really put systems and processes within a smaller business that makes you better, right? Like we've all heard of all the different corporate processes that can slow teams down and slow decision making down. Like that's it can obviously go too far, but it also on the polar opposite end for a small business, often a sole proprietorship, um, you can be unstructured, very just kind of doing whatever needs to be done on a daily basis without necessarily thinking of the long term or thinking of training or thinking of setting goals and, things that will, really make you better over the long term and kind of maintain the core of what's made the business great, operationally and logistically. So I think we've put in a ton of effort over the last few years to implement that, and I think from back then, I remember a firm that was a lot less structured, and I think we've done a fantastic job to get to where we are today, and there's definitely more to go.
And would you say like from when you started, like task wise, like what did they make you do and like as far as what you do now?
Yeah, I think I've definitely gotten increasing responsibility, naturally over time after, like I was saying earlier, building that trust and kind of proving myself. Um, at first, I think well, yeah, like as an analyst, right? At first, you're focusing on learning the research process that you're operating within, and then ultimately providing the facts, right? The only expectation is that you're going to give the undeniably true facts of the situation, the data that is accurately construed, right? That's what you're there for. It's not about your opinion, what you think, those kind of things are reserved for people with more experience, for the portfolio manager themselves, right? And I think that probably goes for most careers, kind of just understanding the role that you're playing on the team, in the early years there. So at first, it was a lot more simple analyses, right? Just very basic fact finding and reporting. But we encourage an analytical mindset. So of course, the concept of being an analyst instead of a reporter is very important to us. A reporter just kind of tells you, what's gives you the facts and nothing else, whereas an analyst provides context and explains why the number is important, or relative to other metrics, how large it is, how small it is, right? Like the adding context is the way I kind of boil it down. That's the role of an analyst that goes above and beyond just reporting. Um, and that's one of the ways that I've built trust is really kind of taking that to heart and doing that consistently over the course of these years. Um, so I've gotten to the point now where it's more advanced analyses, deeper dives on companies, on the economy, on markets, more advanced technical projects as we refer to them. So, using Excel and the Bloomberg terminal, and just trying to build knowledge in more accelerated ways, and more sophisticated ways that is snowballing from what I started learning a couple years ago. So it's natural for someone who has progressed to kind of do that do the progressive work really. um, and then the other area I would highlight is in trading, right? So part of the job is also trading in client accounts, making sure that they own what we want them to own in the right amounts, and on various days buying more, selling some, right? Whatever the decisions are that we're making. And my trading responsibilities have gone up too, as I've proven myself able to execute the trades accurately and in a timely manner. So yeah, it's been a good, definitely a good progression towards more responsibility.
Um, as far as like managing and like giving your opinion, like do you ever see yourself in that role?
Yeah, for sure. So we have an internship program. Obviously, I was talking about that at the beginning, and we still operate that to this day. And I serve in a role that we refer to as a coach. So basically, someone who helps the interns move in the right direction, sometimes providing feedback, and helping them to kind of develop and get the best experience they could possibly have. I'm not involved in like assigning their work or really review or giving them performance reviews. Like that's left up to the manager to whom I report. I'm more so day to day operationally helping them. So kind of bridging that gap between just a teammate and a manager. And like I said, we refer to that as a coach. So that's the leadership aspect that I'm working on, and that's just kind of the way that I'm able to do that. And then as the firm has grown, we've hired a research associate after me, and I was definitely involved in his training and development too. So that's more so on the full time side, really investing in his development, as opposed to an intern who could ultimately get hired, but we primarily treat it as a very educational experience because they're in school. Um, and then, on the just increasing responsibility in general, yeah, I would love to become a portfolio manager someday. I'm definitely working towards that with just my personal knowledge. And I recognize that it's something that takes time. It takes years. You don't expect to just kind of after a couple years, oh, yeah, you're a PM. Like it's not like that. It's meant for seasoned professionals to be doing because there's a ton of risk involved. In our firm's assets under management is almost $500 million, right? So it's not that any one PM manages every single dollar of that, right? But just imagine that it's a good fraction of that. That's significant money, and it's real people's money. It's clients' money. So you want a very seasoned, experienced professional to have the ultimate say there. And I think I strive to get to that point.
You would say that that's your goal, right?
Yeah, I would. I mean that's an end goal of mine. I don't know if that's my only professional goal. It's not my only professional goal, but that's definitely in terms of my career path right now, that's where I'd like to be.
As far as this intern that you're saying, is there any chance or like know where I can apply or go to apply for this intern? And if you could give me any more information on um that application process.
Yeah, so it's a 10-week paid internship. We host it in the fall and spring for seniors and grad students, and then in the summer for rising seniors, right? So going into your senior year or going into your +1 year if you're in the 3+1. So are you a freshman?
Yes, I am a freshman.
Yeah, so if you want to go down this career path, I would definitely keep it in mind for, down the line. The application process is very transparent through Handshake, or you can always come talk to us at a career fair and we can kind of explain how that works. But yeah, we're definitely gonna be around. We're gonna keep recruiting QU students, and we think it's a great school. Obviously, I'm an alum, and it's we've had some great interns from there. So keep us in mind if you end up wanting to go down this career path.
Yes, I definitely will. And one of my highest ones right now, actually, I'm very interested in all of this.
Great, that's awesome
Um,
too.
as far as your teammates from your firm, are they from all QU or they're um from other universities too?
Yeah, so the founder of the firm, Bob Monty, went to UConn. My direct supervisor, Ben, is from Stonehill. My colleague Noah is a research associate. He is from Bentley. I do have one other colleague from Quinnipiac, Jake. He's on the wealth management side of the business, so not directly involved with my day to day, but we do work together quite a bit, especially on Quinnipiac related stuff. So yeah, it's definitely not just Quinnipiac. It's Quinnipiac is one of the schools that we recruit from because like I was saying, it's in Guilford, so it's relatively close to it's very close to campus in the grand scheme of things, as is Fairfield and Sacred Heart. And then we also really like UConn. There's a lot of good Connecticut students who want to go into these fields studying, at UConn. So we definitely prioritize them too.
As far as the intern, what are the hours of the intern?
So in the fall and spring, it's between 15 and 25 hours a week around your class schedule. So we're flexible, but everything is in office in Guilford. 3 to 5 days a week, however it works to kind of get the hours in. And then in the summer, it's a full-time internship, so 40 hours a week.
And I just want to ask you real quick about how was your experience as a 3+1 student since I am one myself?
Yeah, I really liked 3+1. I think it was what I was looking for coming out of high school. It was the accelerated nature of it was something that I wanted, and I want to prove to myself that I could do something a little more advanced. Um, and I liked being pushed along in that quicker fashion. And then what it ultimately led to was I was working between 30 and 40 hours a week for Monte Financial Group during my +1 year. So while I was also doing the full-time MBA. And so that was kind of the capstone, if you will, of that experience. And that was something I would not have been able to do if I was just in a normal 4 year bachelor's degree. So it allowed me to kickstart my career a bit early, start earning money and kind of investing in myself, and really starting my career and trying to set myself up for the longer term. So I feel very fortunate for having discovered it, and it's been an integral part of my professionally who I am today.
I feel like we could really relate. Such as myself, I am a 3+1 student also. and I am working um construction in the mornings, and I take classes in the nights, and I'm just so into this uh feeling of getting driven to finishing early and working as soon as possible and finding my career for me.
That's awesome. Congratulations on all that hard work. I commend you for that, and I hope it continues working out. It's very impressive to be balancing school, especially with undergrad when the this class schedule is a bit more demanding. So, very very good job.
Thank you so much. And um oh, I think we passed our uh half an hour. Um we'll just wrap it up here. Thank you so much for sharing with me, for all the information that was shared. And I will definitely be looking forward to the intern for the multi-financial group.
Yeah, and like I said, it's so you're as a first year, it's going to be a couple years off for you, but obviously, just if you do want to go down this career path, just keep us in mind in a couple years.
Is there any way, like, there's no exceptions for first years or second years?
No, so the internship is an opportunity for us to hire full time. So we
Mm,
really do skew to those older students. That's important to us to kind of be evaluating you towards the end of your college experience. So no, we don't really make exceptions to that.
okay. Thank you so much for everything.
No problem, Kevin. Have a good one. Best of luck.
You too, man. Thank you so much.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.